Greetings! Welcome to danbarpens.com. Okay, I'm making a special order pen for somebody, and I thought I'd cover a couple of the basic tricks that I use to glue in your pen tubes into your acrylic pen blanks. So we're going to need, obviously, your pen tubes, your drilled blanks, a standard Q-tip, a standard toothpick, a couple little squares of just standard newspaper, small spray bottle of water, and your standard original Gorilla Glue. Alright. Okay, starting out, here's some of the what's and whys. You've got your brass pen tubes. I painted these white in this case because I didn't want to be able to see a brass tube through the kind of somewhat translucent pearl interference colors. In this case, I also painted the inside of the tubes white just for double precaution. Generally speaking, you don't have to paint the insides of the tubes, but if you can really see through the insides of the blanks, if you can really see through it, even if you paint the tube white, but you can see through this, you can still see the residue of the cured Gorilla Glue on the tube. Sometimes that's cool. It makes it look textured, and you might want that. But in this case, I painted the tubes white, and I painted the acrylic blanks white. I just use a little hard drive magnet. Any magnet would probably work with nails on it. Your brass tubes are magnetized; they don't stick to it. And then you can just fold your nails up for safety. Better than putting two nails through a piece of wood. I suppose you could just tip it over, but anyway. Okay, we've got our brass tubes and we've got our acrylic blanks. Now we step to the Gorilla Glue and just put a little squirt into that acrylic blank hole. Alrighty, so we're done with that. Now we schmooze it around with your Q-tip. Cover your edges. Make sure you got a nice coating all the way through your tube, through your blank. Doing the other one. Alrighty, so we're good. Probably done with the Q-tip for now. Alright, now we use Gorilla Glue and water. The water cures it, it sets up the Gorilla Glue, it makes it start to foam. And the thing I like about the foam is if, for whatever reason, your hole's a little bit of slack when you slide your tube in it, there's a little bit of slack in there. The Gorilla Glue, when it cures and it foams, it fills those little micro gaps up. I don't know, it just adds some stability to turning your pen. Alright, so you spray, you take your bottle of water, and you put a really fine mist on your tube. And then you just slide the tube in. It's going to all goop out of the other end, that's cool for now. You do the same thing to the other one, fine water. Couple little squirts. Oops. Jumper. Twist it back and forth, just spread your water around. Okay, now you can also do this in gloves. I forgot my gloves. Here's where the toothpick comes in. It's all gooping out the other end. Slide your toothpick in and just swish it around a smidge and get some of that goop out. This isn't mission critical because when you square your blank later, there's a reamer that slides in the tube and it squares off your acrylic. That'll take out any glue that's in there that's dried up, caked up. You just push it out. So our tube's in, and we clean out the other one real quick. Alright, there's your toothpick. And there's your tube. Okay, now, next step is clamping these tubes together. And the reason you do that is I've noticed with the Gorilla Glue, as stated, it tends to foam. It doesn't tend to foam, it does foam. And when it foams out an end, there's a tendency, not always, but once in a while, it'll kind of squirt out the brass tube from the other end. So then when it all dries, the tube is sticking out, and there is no putting the tube back in. You're not putting the toothpaste back in that tube. So now it's junk, or you've got to make a different pen out of it, or a keychain, or whatever, but you're messed up. Whereas if you put these pieces of paper on it, make sure you've got a little bit of extra edge there. You want about a 1/16 of an inch on each end. That's from properly measuring and cutting your blank in the first place. But we don't want that tube to squirt out, so you take your paper, little paper squares, and you put it between them. And because we're doing a double pen, I need 3 squares, a double tube. And the reason you put the paper on it is when you put the C-clamp, or when you put the spring clamp, what this does is prohibits the tube from sliding out. And then the paper keeps it from sticking to the clamp or themselves. So when you're all done, you just take the tube, you just loosen your clamp up, you take these out, and it'll just pop apart because it's just the newspaper. Then you got to clean your newspaper off, and we're going to touch these, we're going to square these on a sander before we turn it anyway. So that's why I use the newspaper and the clamp, is to keep the tube from migrating out one end, and then it's junk. And because we used a removable placemat here, you just fold it up and you throw it away. No mess, no fuss. Usually I would have gloves on, and at this point you pull the gloves down over it and you throw it away, and we're good. Alrighty, thanks for stopping in at danbarpens.com. Check us out on the web. You can get handmade acrylic pens, woodcraft, clocks, personalized engravings, other great gift ideas. Hope to see you there. See ya.